The US and the UK has signed a tariff deal.
President Trump slapping a 20% tariff on all Vietnamese imports.
India-US trade talks, and the Trump administration is putting them on notice.
Donald Trump's desire for tariffs may only be surpassed by his love of a deal.
Tariffs go into effect August 1st, but the president is setting the rates and the deals right now.
And Canada's need for a stable arrangement with its largest trading partner.
I have a tariff concept. Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it.
Mark Carney and Trump set a tight 30-day deadline at the G7 summit last month, already extended to August 1st under new threats of a 35% tariff from the U.S. president and old complaints about the flow of fentanyl and supply management for dairy products. Still, talks continue behind closed doors, and both sides remain hopeful. So what's on the table? Trump has gripes about autos and barriers to U.S. banks, but the actual U.S. government list of irritants is relatively short, including things like Canada's zero plastic waste goals and rules for cheese, all of which may simply mask Trump's larger and far more radical aim to unravel global free trade, says U.S. trade lawyer Dan Mutzo.
Anybody that thinks that, this will just pass over and we'll go back to, quote, normal, unquote, hasn't been paying attention for the last decade. Managed trade is the order of the day. What we did from the mid-1990s until 2017 is over. It's over, it's gone.
We're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act.
It's part of a bigger negotiation. It's something that we expected in the broader sense that would be part of a final deal. We're making progress towards a final deal. There's more to be done, to be clear.
Carney has already climbed down on one sticking point, Canada's digital services tax, shrugging off Trump's provocations, all while dangling a sweetener: Canadian participation in the U.S. president's proposed Golden Dome missile shield.
This is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection, so that's something we need.
A low-key strategy that may well pay off, says Canada-U.S. specialist Fen Hampson.
I think the Canadian goal here is to give Trump a win so he can say to the Americans, look, we've got the Canadians to contribute to the development of the Golden Dome. They're upping their game on defense.
Trade agreements aren't usually forged in a crucible.
It's a very long and tedious process.
It took John Weeks and his Canadian team 14 months to negotiate the original NAFTA deal.
I mean, there's sometimes when it can get quite tough, when people sort of lose their tempers. It requires a lot of patience as well as continued focus on what's important.
We're going to run 90 deals in 90 days.
The Trump administration has an audacious overall goal, although they've already missed their initial deadline, and the end products are likely to be skinny memos of understanding rather than comprehensive treaties.
We will not negotiate in public.
The Canadian and American approaches stand in sharp contrast.
We have all the cards. We have all the cards.
Does Canada have any cards to play here?
A lot of Americans make their living by selling goods to Canadians and services to Canadians. And so I think we have a lot of cards.
Trade barriers have already been erected around U.S. markets, with the tariff rate currently running at almost 20%, the highest level since the early 1930s. And Trump is under pressure to prove the turmoil has a purpose.
I mean, I think for businesses, uncertainty is kryptonite.
Jake Colvin advocates for cross-border trade in the U.S. He says there is enthusiasm for Trump's vision of reshoring manufacturing, just not at any price.
When every problem with our trading partners is seen as a nail and tariffs are seen as a hammer, it's hard to get that certainty for the trading relationships that the businesses need.
The stakes are no lesser for Mark Carney, who won election by casting himself as the best person to take on Trump and protect Canada, including in upcoming Canada-US-Mexico trade negotiations.
President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never, ever happen.
I think what Carney needs to deliver are two things. One is to lay the table for CUSMA renegotiation next year, and to ensure that we're not negotiating under the barrel of a gun.
Have you spoken to the president today?
All while trying to make sure he doesn't get undercut by other nations.
You want your tariffs to be lower than your competitors. Live to negotiate for another day. That's the best we can hope for.
There will be rewards if a deal gets done, but also risks, including political blowback. Anti-American sentiment in Canada is high. In a recent poll, 59% of Canadians named the U.S. as the biggest threat facing the country, a tripling since 2019.
To have those discussions,
and even a successful agreement might end up changing the way Canada works.
If you have a new security and economic framework between Canada and the U.S., I think it'll be very Western Canada oriented, in the sense that it'll be driven by energy and critical minerals. Where does that leave manufacturing in Ontario?
No matter how friendly or even tempered is the beast, if I can call it that.
There will also be questions about future dealings with the United States.
Pierre Trudeau famously compared the relationship between Canada and the U.S. to sleeping with an elephant. I wonder if that still holds.
Well, this isn't the elephant rolling over in his sleep. This is the elephant trying to figure out how to get us. So it's not just an elephant, it's more like a tiger.
A changing analogy based on old fears and Trump's new law of the jungle.